Hello. Okay, the much promised, never yet delivered 20-minute practice. It's don't put down any bets on the likelihood of it actually being 20 minutes, but I'm going to do my best to do a practice where if you just wanted to do 10 minutes of it at any point in the practice, that it would be safe for you. So if you're coming to this hoping to get a real sweat on and work really hard, that's going to be down to you to make it that way, but you're going to work safely. The aim of this is actually to just have a daily something to keep your muscles, tissues, bones, body moving in all different planes, and to just enjoy coming to your mat each day. It's to motivate you. The idea is that you will not need this video. Once you start using it, you get to the point where you're like, actually, I can just come to the mat and do whatever. But meanwhile, here it is. Anything is good, right? Anything that's range of motion is good. I am making this video with people in mind, clients in mind. So you guys know, if I've sent you the link personally, you guys know what you're dealing with. Hypermobility, stress, tension, juddery movements, anxiety, or anything that has that kind of outside influence in your body and maybe makes your movements feel less than you would want them to be. So if there's anything here that makes you feel stressed or that starts to make you feel tight and gross, just skip it, right? It's a video. If there's anything you really like and you want to do more of it, press the pause button and do more of it. Right, first of all, I want you to look for range of motion. All of you who've had this video personally, your first priority is range of motion. Second priority is to find muscle engagement, and then range of motion with muscle engagement. So we're going to start with freeing up some stress. Just stand nice and loose, nice and still, nice and tall, and then start to vibrate to your body like this. Dangle your arms, dangle your head, and vibrate up and down. You can roll around. And the idea of this, I'm not going to keep doing it because I can't talk at the same time. The idea of this, carry on moving, is to be loose, is to find movement and looseness in your muscles, is to scan through your body and look for which bits are tight and start jiggling them, basically, loose jiggling. People do this in all sorts of different ways. This method with the soft arms and soft knees is really good as a starter. I've always really liked jogging on the spot really loosely because I'm such a big fidget. I have friends who like to shake an arm. In fact, I recommend you do that. So I've got a timer in front of me. You want about a minute of this. If you need more, take more. You've got about 20 seconds left and then we're going to shake off some other bits. So carry on. We're counting down for another 10 seconds. Wiggle, jiggles, maybe do the little thigh wiggle, the Beyonce thing, so that your lower back and your butt gets a good shake as well. And slowly, when you're ready, bring this back to center. Do more if you need to. You can break out and do this any time of the day or night. If you're doing it at night, get out of bed so you don't wake your partner up. Let's just shake off arms a little bit and do the leg. So this is a good start for balance. You can lean against a wall if you want, but this is a really good way of just starting out balance. Have your eyes on a gazing point and then switch sides. I do like these movements very much. Okay, joint washing. So if you work with me and you're hypermobile, we will have already talked about joint washing. Again, just a couple of minutes. All you're going to do is pick a joint, a major joint, and just start to rub it until it starts to feel warm. You can just feel the sense of that joint, right? Now, again, I don't need to do this all with you, so I recommend that you pause the video and do them all. Wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, fronts of your hips, backs of your hips, knees, ankles, any other joints. You can also do your fingers. This is just helping your body figure out where you are. So do that. It doesn't need to be rough. just a light rub. You'll feel the blood circulation in your skin. Pause, come back to me after you've finished doing that and you've taken a pause standing and you're feeling all those joints in their locations in your body. It's really important, it's useful stuff. Okay, next relaxing activity, which I'm not going to do all of with you, but is going to have a similar effect, is just to start lightly tapping the surface of your skin. Not everybody likes this. If you don't like it, don't do it. But it's just a little light pat, right? Do that. Arms, legs, shoulders, chest, all the way, everywhere that you feel all right with. Pause the video, do it all. It'll take you a couple of minutes maximum, right? And then stop. So I'm going to assume that you've taken your time and done that. Vibrations, joint washing, tapping. And come to your mat, stand nice and tall, pause and close your eyes with your eyes on your horizon line, and just take 3 big breaths in and nice long breaths out. And just keep moving through these deep breaths. 3 breaths in, inhaling, deeply expanding, opening up. Exhaling to relax, feel your feet on the floor. Lovely stuff. And if I were you, I would just keep your eyes closed and continue to breathe and focus in on your breath, and assuming that you have just taken off the pause button, having done your vibrating, the joint washing and the tapping, just become aware of the feeling on the surface of the skin, how it feels to be resting in your body right now, having done all those stress release activities. And ask yourself this question: is that all I need today? Is that all I need right now? Because if it is, you can go off and come back and continue this video later. So that could be your first section. That could be the one and only thing that you do in the morning when you get up that just gets you going for the day, right? One last thing, well, let's call it the first thing for the next section, but actually you should add this on, is to have a swing. So pivoting away from the foot that you're turning away from, pivoting from the foot you're turning away from. Swing your arms out and just let your body be loose with the swinging. I really love the swinging, as you know. Shoulders go round, waist goes round, hips get a twist. As you get used to it, you can turn your head. Eyes, better not to close your eyes, but you can spot. So you can turn your head like ballerinas before you twist, but I've got to be honest, if you're prone to vertigo, I don't think that's going to help you that much. Good. Slowly start to make this softer, softer, softer. Oh, nice, right? So shoulders are back and down. Wiggle your feet out a little bit wider. Straight legs. In fact, quite a lot wider. Straight legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Toes can point out. We just want the legs to be straight. Do not lock your knees. If you are prone to locking your knees, soften them. You can't tell if I've locked my knees because I've got really muscly thighs, but actually if I didn't have such muscly thighs, then you'd be able to see that my knees go backwards, right? So soft knees if you tend to lock them. Hands to your hips. Now the key here is hands are on your hips to keep them forward. Imagine you've got a pair of headlights attached to the front of your hips. They're going to continue to point forwards. So hip circles. Roll your hips forward, out to the side, back, out to the side, and forward. Now, if actually it's really hard for you to control the twisting that we're trying to avoid, as it is for me, you can probably see if you look closely enough, I have a really hard time not twisting my hips. I'm a snaky person. You can think of this as a clock face and think in terms of 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Fine, but you're wanting to ease, smooth and ease this out and try and find nice smooth movements. Let me be clear, you're looking for a stretch. If you're going too far, then your hips we'll twist. You can go very, very far. Most people don't go far enough. So enjoy this movement. Keep the legs straight, keep the hips forward, find really, really good stretch. I'm going to tell you, get some really good stretches into the tops of the thighs here. So it's worth the time, it's worth the effort. Good. When you're ready, go back the other way. We're just going to do 3 the other way. Normally, you probably do even numbers. It doesn't matter actually. You've done the whole range of motion thing, but you can always pause and do more. And I really recommend, if, as I said, if it feels good, pause, do some more. Fantastic. Coming back to center, hands down by your sides, heel toe your feet back under your hips, elbows in, hold on to one forearm with one hand and give me 5 really good wrist circles. It's range of motion stuff, right? Simple, simple stuff. And then go back the other way. These wrist circles, your forearm doesn't move. The top of your hand continues to face the ceiling, doesn't roll to the sides. Good, and then switch sides, right? Controlled movements. Really find your full range of motion in the wrists. Better to do less, better. Find that movement in your wrists. Usually when I say, let's do some wrist circles, I get a sort of a response. And yeah, no, that feels okay, but this is better, right? So, good. So as many as you need. No pain. Okay, let those go. We're gonna come to the back of the mat. Gonna grow up nice and tall. Lightly draw your tailbone under you, or at least point it down towards the floor, one or the other, whatever makes more sense for you. Lightly draw your waist in. If you've trained with me, you know what I mean when I say that. Lightly draw your pelvic floor up. Shoulders start to roll up, back and down. Now, if you're a person who tends to have their heart lifted all the time and their shoulders back, I'd like you to roll your shoulders the other way. Most of the people I work with are at desks or they're lifting heavy things all the time. So we mostly need to be rolling our shoulders back. So we're going up, back and down. Keep your head lifted. Brilliant. And when you finish, just draw those shoulders back and down with the fingertips trailing down by your sides. Take a breath in and circle your arms up, lifting your heels off the floor if you can. If it's too much too quickly, just do the arm circles. Exhale to lower down. Eyes on your gazing point. Keep your waist cinched in. Keep your pelvic floor lightly lifted, tailbone drawing down. And literally, that is a very light feeling of drawing in. There should be no tension and you should be able to breathe. Keep this float going on. Inhaling to lengthen your arms up, lifting your heels, exhaling to come down, or you can switch the breath if you wish. If your arms are feeling tired, you can bring them softly forward and up to shoulder height. That also works. Let's do a couple more. Good. And on your next one, hold it. If your arms are tired, just bring them to your hips. Arms draw up, belly is in. Pelvic floor is up, just a light lift. I'm on the balls of my feet, not my tippy toes. Don't forget to breathe. And relax it down. We're going to roll down. So for rolling down, you need to be drawing your core in as you round your spine. So imagine you've got a beach ball or a gym ball in front of you. You're rolling over the top of it. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, round your shoulders forward, hollow your chest. Arms dangle forward like a zombie, and then head dangles forward like a dead zombie. Start to roll your spine down as you draw your abdomen up. So each bit of spine that rolls down, the front abs draw up to support and release it. Soft knees, soft hips, roll it all the way to the floor. And then soften your knees and roll back up again. Tuck your tailbone firmly, draw your pelvic floor up firmly, lower abdomen lifts your spine, mid-abdomen, upper back, and chest lifts, crown of the head lifts. Circle your arms up, keep your heels on the floor. Let's do that again. Just keep practicing it. Arms float down. You're working at your own pace. Remember, you can pause this and do your reps at your own pace. Hollow your chest, dangle your arms, dangle your head. Round as if you're rolling over a beach ball. Draw your belly and abdomen up as you roll yourself down. Doesn't matter how far you go. Bend your knees as you come down. Fantastic. Exhale, draw your pelvic floor up, draw your belly in. Mid-abdomen draws in as you round through your lumbar region. And the same with the chest. Ribs draw in, chest draws in. Shoulders relax back and down. Crown of the head lifts, sweep your arms up. Next time, we're staying down. If this feels super, super good for you, or you're just getting the hang of it, pause and do a few more. Enjoy them. Exhale. Hollow your shoulders, dangle your arms, chest, head dangles, roll your spine down. You just imagine that you're peeling your spine off a wall, an invisible wall, or that you're a errant sheet of wallpaper rolling off a wall. Keep your tailbone tucked, keep your lower back heavy into your lower back, into the backs of your joggers, whatever you're wearing. Soften your knees, bring your hands to the floor, and with care and control, pad yourself forward, bending your knees forward deeply into all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. If you work with me, you know the cues and you just do them. If you don't work with me, tailbone draws down, elbow pits point forward, hands are under your shoulders. So use a video, use a phone, check. Most of you will have your shoulders right back. You want to be bearing weight into your hands. And if you're hypermobile, you're going to want to work really hard to push the big knuckles by your palms a little bit down, right? If your elbows tend to go inside out, which mine do, you're going to want to put a little softness into your elbow. You'll know about it because you'll feel it in your upper arms, somewhere in your biceps or triceps. Draw your waist in again, tailbone down. Let's move through some cats and cows. Inhale, lift your heart, roll your tailbone up, gaze forward, keep your waist lightly hugged. Exhale, round through your spine and then suck your belly up between your ribs and hips. Really squeeze those ribs and hips together, push the floor away. Inhale, chest beams forward between your arms, shoulder blades draw back together. Exhale, round. Inhale, open it. Now, if you're just wanting to get a good stretch, it's morning time, first thing you're doing, then really you're going to want to keep this really soft and just enjoy it and don't worry, right? If it's sort of like you're looking for some strength, work the core here, right? So when you're in cow pose, where I am now, you're thinking chest is beaming forward and you're keeping your waist and your pelvic floor tucked and lifted. And then as you round, you are really firmly pushing the floor away, spreading your shoulder blades, tucking your tailbone and drawing your abdomen up really firmly. And let's just do one more. If you want more of these, you can come back to it. We're going to do floating tabletop next. So come to a neutral tabletop position. Check it. Use your phone, use a mirror, use a video, whatever you need to get this just right. Tuck your toes and listen to the instructions. Really important. As you exhale, you're going to tuck your tailbone a little. You're going to press your shoulder blades between your arms. Chest up between your shoulder blades and float your knees literally an inch off the floor, and I mean an inch, and then inhale to come down. And give me 5 of those with your breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. I lost count. Exhale, lift. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, lower. You should be feeling it by now if you're doing it well. Lower back does not soften in this work. And then lower down. It's not a surprise, is it? Let's be honest. Tuck your toes. And one more lift, and this one is going to take us straight up into A frame, which is a better version of downward facing dog, a different version of downward facing dog. Okay, so still gripping the floor, working hard through your arms, elbow pits are forward, float your knees up an inch, and then continue to pull your hips up, 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 up towards the ceiling and back towards the wall behind you. If you do yoga, the first thing you'll do is start wiggling your feet around and moving your hands forward and back and letting your chest sink down and letting your tailbone point up. None of that. We're going to continue to push the floor away. Keep your biceps by your ears. Push your heels towards the floor and keep your butt high. Knees can bend to make this happen, but you're wanting a nice strong position here. If you're here just for the stretch, by all means have your downward facing dog. We're going to up the ante a little bit on your strength if you want to keep this working. Lift your heels up high, come forward and lower them either to the floor, which I recommend, or to floating tabletop if you're feeling very, very strong. I'm going to the floor. Exhale, pull up, use your shoulders, use your abdomen to pull you up. Reach back, continue to push the floor away the whole time. Lift your heels. Lower your knees all the way or to a hover. I recommend a hover all the way. And then one more. Roll it back. And then hang out here, pedal your legs. Keep your hands pushing into the floor so your shoulders are working hard here. Good. Couple more pedals. All right, so we're going to walk your hands back towards your feet or your feet towards your hands, but do it with control wherever you're going. Come to a soft position, just hanging out with soft knees, opposite elbow and opposite hand, and just have a little roll out from side to side. We are going to wind this down. Last little bit of movement is going to be for legs and thighs, so we're going to do some squats, and then we're just going to take some stretches. You could leave this here if you wanted to, actually. You wouldn't find yourself in any particular trouble to do with aches and pains unless you really push too hard too quickly. But you would have to really, you know, given the people that I'm working with here that are making this for, you're not likely. It's not likely, right? So roll yourself up, tailbone tucks, like a zombie, all the way up to standing. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Crown of the head lifts. Step your feet out a little wider. Turn your toes out. We're going to do body weight squats. So you're taking your hips back, arms forward, and driving down through your thighs. You are not going to rush this. We're not diving up and down. You're not a jack in the box. You're going to do them slowly with control. And your cue is to keep your knees driving out. Do not let them flop in, all right? Slow movements. So waist in, tailbone, pelvic floor lifted, knees wide. Have a check. You want your knees to be tracking over your toes wherever you're going. Just start to lower slowly. I recommend exhale, lower, inhale, lift. Smooth, controlled movements. Dumping down and then picking yourself back up, kind of pointless. As you warm into this, there shouldn't be any pain. If there's pain, you're either going too fast or too low. If you're sort of getting into it, start to push the fronts of your feet down as well. So your weight is not all in your heels. It's actually pushing into the front of your feet as well. Particularly those of you I know we've talked about all the way through hypermobility, you want to be really pushing some weight into the front of your feet. And when I say really, I'm talking about for you, you're not going to have to do much for that to really fire stuff up. Allow this movement to take you as low as you can go with control. And just play with it. Now, if you can go all the way to the floor, I'm going to warn you, the minute your butt sinks down between your hips and your knees, all the heat goes away. I can feel it like just draining out of my body. You want to be lifted enough that you're still working, and you need to be able to drive up slowly with control. So only do what you can do. For most of you who can sink your hips to the floor with flat feet, you're actually going to want to keep it higher because you're not using strength. Most of you are not using strength. You're just dropping down between your hips into your joints. Is everything burning? Yeah, of course it is. So let's leave that. Come back to standing, shake off. Yeah, we need to do a quad stretch. So what I'm going to say is my experience with all y'all who are bendy is that you all like a different kind of quad stretch. Because we're standing, I'm going to do the standing quad stretch. But if you know you like a lying down one, at the wall one, kneeling one, do the one that works. You're going to need it. So pick up a foot. I'm going to do it with balance. You can have your fingertips on a wall, but don't lean on the wall. Draw your tailbone under, pull your hips forward and draw your knee back towards your butt. Try not to let your leg flail out. You want to try and keep your knee in its natural position, which not gonna lie, find it quite hard. There we go. While you're here, you may as well draw your same side shoulder back, right? So same side shoulder draws back and down, roll it back, shrug it back. You'll feel a good stretch. Pull your knee back. Softness in your standing leg. So if this standing leg is locked, pulling back towards you, the wall behind you, soften it and really challenge that right leg. Well, in my case, it's the right leg. In your case, it's probably whichever one you're on. And then release. Your standing leg should feel a bit tired. Opposite side. Pick up if you're doing the standing version. So just start by picking up your foot and then start to push your hips forward, turn your tailbone under and draw your foot in. Okay, start looking for sensation at the front of your hip and the front of your thigh. That's what you want. So just pulling your foot to your butt won't work, especially not if you've got bendy knees. You need to think about tailbone under, knee drawing back, braced stomach, so you're not soft here. These are work, these stretches. Shoulders draw back and down, right shoulder, head rolls back. And look, there's quite a lot of space between my knee and my foot and my bum. I can bring it right in, but until I've got that hip movement forward, it does nothing. So just start by finding the front of your thigh and your hip flexor, and it might take time. You can do it lying on your front if you need to, that's totally fine. It's the same movement, whether you're on your front, your side, standing, even if you're in your lunge, it's the exact same movement. Yeah, your standing leg should be knackered by now. Let it go, give it a good shake off. Both legs, shake them off. See, it's half an hour. Right, a little bit of side bending and we're golden. So we're going to do the melting heart sequence, which is going to catch your shoulders, your side, and also a nice forward fold without rounding. Let's weave your hands behind your back. Use a strap if you can't. Weave your hands. Otherwise, weave your hands behind your back, roll your shoulders back and down. You would be holding the strap in the palm of your hands wider apart. Lift your heart up towards the ceiling. Keep your belly braced in a little bit. Start to peel your chest up, up, up. Try not to let your ribs completely flare out. And then exhale, deep bend in your knees. Soft forward fold. Roll those arms up and over, just to wherever they get to, yeah? So it doesn't matter, you're not trying to copy my movement, you're just seeing what's there for you. Hang out here as long as you want to. When you're ready to come up, lead with your arms. So pull your arms up and back. Let them lift your chest and bring you all the way up to standing. Then unping your arms, take them up towards the ceiling. Weave your hands together again. Turn your palms towards the ceiling. Exhale to lengthen out to the side. Inhale through center. And exhale over to the other side. Try and keep your hips still. Inhale to center. Exhale, release, bring your hands back behind you and repeat. I'll show you the strap version. So hands you'll be holding a belt, a strap, a tie, something that doesn't stretch between your hands, in your palms, like so. I don't like it with a strap because my shoulder's too bendy, it feels bad. So draw your shoulders back and down, pull your arms down, start to pull your arms away. The tighter your shoulders are, the wider you'll have to go. Pull your arms away, draw your belly in, sit your hips back. Think about that squat. Hips go back as you fold your upper body over your thighs or thereabouts. Let your arms float over the top. And then lift your head, roll your arms up. Come all the way to center, and then just hold on to your strap, it's fine. Weave your hands up and overhead. Lengthen up, stretch to the side. Inhale to center, stretch to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale, release. Should we do that one more time? Rinse and repeat on this one. If you love it, do more. If you don't love it, just do 3 because you probably really need it. Weave your hands together, you can keep it gentle. Roll your shoulders back and down, pull the arms down, use a strap if it works better. Take your arms up, bend your knees, fold over your thighs. Arms float up, hang out here, let your arms do a bit of hanging. Let your shoulder weight work. You're not pulling your hands over your head, you're just letting body weight do it. Don't forget to breathe. And then lift your arms, pull them away. Use the weight of your arms to pull your chest up, lengthen all the way up. Circle your arms to the ceiling. Keep your belly braced in. Lengthen, woven palms towards the ceiling. Exhale to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale to center. And then release your arms. Okay, for the sake of completion, I'm going to give you a twist. I would rather you do this, you can do it seated. I want you to do it with control. The aim is not to do big movements here. So you're all familiar with this if you've worked with me before. Elbows are relaxed, fingertips come together and thumb tips with the palms separated. You're going to have your crown of your head lifted with your eyes on your gazing point, and your tallest finger sits under your chin with the thumb resting on your breastbone. The reason for this is to keep you working from your waist through your upper back and not just wanging your shoulders and your head around. So your hips are going to stay forward. If you tend to lock your knees, soften them off. Draw your waist in, pelvic floor up. You can do this seated anywhere, anytime. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale to move your upper body ever so slightly to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale to center. I'm just going to say it as you move. Almost all of you will be doing this. Slowly start to squeeze around your hips so that the movement is super controlled and the hips don't move. Let's be clear, most of you are going to be doing an 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock movement. That is better than doing this big rotation because the aim here is to work your waist. So if you've been working all of this at full pelt for 33 minutes, then you'll be feeling pretty lively right about now. Even if you've just been stretching, you'll be feeling fairly lively about now. But the aim is to bring control in the movement, right? And the stillness, the end points, the beginning points, but particularly in the movements. So if you've been rushing, right about now you'll be thinking, I don't get it. I don't get what the point is. It's because you've rushed. It's because you've not yet learned how to engage your core muscles, but you will if you follow the instructions. Just trust the process. You have to do it accurately. You have to do the process and trust the process. And if you're not sure, you can always ask me. You can ask me in a session. You can drop me an email through my website. You can't comment here because comments are disabled. Because when they were enabled, it was just a lot of porn or requests to do porn. So I turned them off because it was boring. Okay, let's bring this back to center. Relax your arms down. Shoulder rolls. We're going to release the way we started. You can switch off now if you want, if you're doing the whole set, or if you just want to finish the way you started. We've got about 4 more minutes. Shoulders roll a few times. Take as much time as you want for all of these. It'll be 4 minutes of your time, not mine, because I'm not actually going to do them all. So you have your shoulder rolls. Then you're going to relax, take your feet out a little wider and swing about a minute. About a minute of this. Do as much as you want. Nice and loose, right? This movement is loose. You don't need to do the tapping unless you really want to do another set of tapping. But when you've had about a minute of swinging, Slowly bring it back to center, check in, and if you need one last bit of release, back to vibrations. Soft knees, soft hips, arms dangling, head dangling, wiggle, right? I recommend freestyle wiggling. I recommend putting some tunes on and wiggling to music that you like. Anything that feels good for you, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Make sure your whole body feels de-stressed. Feel the sense of life, the energy that you've built, and then sit still for about 2 or 3 minutes and reflect on what you've just done. Ponder. Take the time, sit still, or even make a cup of tea, put some headphones in. Give yourself this brain space right now to reflect. How do I feel? Did I work too hard? Did I follow the instructions? How did it feel in terms of quality? This is subjective. This is your opinion. You're not trying to tell anyone. You're not trying to tell me. Be honest and don't be a dick, right? Don't be rough on yourself because that doesn't help. What was the quality of my movement? What can I change tomorrow? Do I need to do less and better? Or do I need to pay some closer attention to the instructions? Do I need to ask any questions? Did it feel good? Ease. How hard did this feel? If you're working over a 5 out of 7, you're working too hard. If you're looking for effort, 5 out of 7 is where you want to be. Because it gives you space, right? It's a 35 minutes, I can't do 20 minutes. It's a 35-minute session. You've got plenty of time for breaks in 35 minutes. You could do half as much as we did with regular breaks and make sure you set up every single movement really well. And I want to say you do just as well as a person who moves continually, but actually you probably do better than the person who moves continually. Take it from me, because I'm a continual mover and I get tired and it means my technique goes a bit crap. But, you know, I'm dealing with hyperkineticism, so it's quite hard for me to actually stop. So, yeah, 3 minutes. Reflect on the practice. Be kind, be compassionate, but also be real. When you come and do this tomorrow, or a little bit of it tomorrow, what might you do differently? Or make a note. If you've got any questions to ask me, make a note. Either email me or ask me in the session, and we can talk about it. And I'm more than happy to, as you know, because we always run late. so I hope that's useful. If there's anything that isn't in there that you would like to do more of, that I will start doing more videos now that my schedule makes more sense. So you will start to get more resources, better resources. I'll probably swap some of these out because they're always on the hoof. And you'll be able to piece them together and use them. So yeah, I hope that's useful. I hope it touches the major things. Well, no, I know it touches major things. I know it does everything it needs to do, but I hope for you it feels like it's at least something to keep you going for now. Too long, you do not need to do the whole thing. You can do 10 minutes, you can do 15 minutes. Even if you just come down and do the all fours section, you'll be fine, because if you work with me, you know what you're doing. And even if you don't work with me, don't do anything that hurts. and the instructions are all in there, right? And they're all across my whole thing. Or you can book a session with me. And if you're like, what is she on about? I want to know more. Book a chemistry session on my website. We can talk, and maybe you want to get involved with some personal training. I'll speak to you soon.